What's up, YouTube? I'm back under the hood of the 95 today, the 95 OBS F-250 with the 7.3 turbo diesel, and just underneath here because I thought that I smelled some coolant, and I've been suspecting that I would see some coolant and smelling it and seeing it, and sure enough, see there's radiator fluid coming down right there. So I think I have a radiator leak, and I haven't really towed the toy hauler with this yet, so I want to make sure it's ready to go when we want to take it on a trip. And I haven't really taken it on very many long trips yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull the radiator off today, replace it. It's kind of the old style, even though this is a PowerStroke 95 PowerStroke. It has the old IDI style radiator, because from what I understand, the early PowerStrokes, they were still kind of getting rid of the old IDI style radiators. They had many on the shelf, so they used them until they were gone, and that's why my PowerStroke has the older IDI style radiator. So that's the old radiator that's still on there. I'm just going to have to pull off a couple of things, I think, to get to it. The fan shroud here is going to have to come back, and then it's got a couple of bolts on each side that hold it on, and of course the hoses, top and bottom, have got to come off. And I think it should come off pretty easily after that. I hope I'm not jinxing myself, but it seems like it should come off pretty easy once I get the side bolts, the shroud, and the hoses off. It should come right off. And then here's a look at my radiator. I'll go ahead and post a link to the seller's store. Seems pretty nice. I don't have any complaints about it so far. I did get a different cap. I didn't really like the cap it came from. It looked like a cheap one, so I went and bought a cap to go on there. It comes with, it's like a plastic drain plug on this side. This is the inlet or outlet. I forget which one, if it comes in the top and goes out the bottom, but there's one of the hose ports there. And then this is for, I think if you're hooking it up to an automatic transmission, you can hook that up there, and there's a small reservoir down here that's separate than the main one. And then over here, this is another drain, I believe. So you've got a drain, inlet. This is the inlet and the outlet for the transmission cooler, and then another drain plug. But it seems to be pretty well put together. All the welds seem fairly clean and straight. It's not terrible quality. It seems to be nice, but I guess we'll find out after I put it on there if it leaks or not. So that's the plan for today. Try and get this radiator on the green truck first. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Drain all the radiator fluid out. Got a couple of buckets here for the old radiator fluid. Get that all cleaned out and replaced. And then once that's done, take it for a little test drive. But nothing left to do now. Fill it up with radiator fluid. Alright guys, what's up? Today I got old Green out and getting ready to do the water pump on him today. He's been leaking. I'll show you guys some footage of the leak that I found. And so now you know why it's leaking and why I have to replace it. So first line of business, I gotta drain the radiator and pull the serpentine belt. Alright, so here are the two tools I used to get the fan clutch loose, and it's 48 millimeter on one end, and then on the other end it's a 36, but I didn't use that end. I used the 48 millimeter. It was tight enough to get it off of there, and that came as part of this kit over here, which is the Ever Tough Tools 67063 kit. And then to hold the fan, to hold the water pump pulley, I used this 67065, which is kind of like this weird looking wrench with a ratcheting mechanism on there and a big long handle with a red rubber thing on the end of it. And basically these just clamp onto the water pump pulley bolts so you can hold it in place while you knock the nut on the water pump loose, the fan clutch nut. Put this on there and knock it to the left. So I'll show you guys real quick how I did it. I got it loose already. Alright, so you can see I've got the holder on the bolts that would normally hold the pulley on, and that's holding the pulley in place. And I'm using it kind of over here, braced up against the side of the air conditioner, air compressor there. So it's just kind of propped right there, just in place. And now I'm going to knock the nut to the left. And so there you can see I've got the wrench on now, and I've got the holder in place. And all you need to do now is keep that there and knock that wrench just a little bit to the left. So with the holder there braced against the side of the pulley for the air compressor and the wrench in place, you just tap it this way like this, and that'll knock the nut loose on the fan clutch, so you can start taking the fan clutch off. Then from there I'm going to pull the fan shroud and the fan and the clutch off all in one piece. Some things I need off of the old water pump. I need the old water line connector that goes off to the heater, and then I need the old thermostat bolts that go in here for the thermostat housing. I did buy a new thermostat. I got a Murray 4252 thermostat. There's the thermostat sitting there with the O-ring and the new hardware for my water pump. And this is the box for the water pump that I got. I think I showed it to you guys already earlier. It's the water pump I got. It's a Gates 45007 water pump for a Ford F-250 7.3. Mine's a 95. And so here's a look at the new water pump. This is the Gates water pump that I got. See right there, it's a 78, 73 is what they have marked on there. But take my fan and bolt it onto the new fan clutch, which I'll show you guys in just a second. But first I have to swap over again this water connector piece and these 3 bolts from the old thermostat housing, and I did buy a new thermostat housing as well. I'll show you guys that in just a second. But there is the old water pump and the new water pump side by side. I think this is a OEM and this is a Gates, again aftermarket. So there's a quick look at the Gates thermostat housing, the new one. That's going to replace that piece right there. As you can see, it's all brand new, coated. This one's just a little bit, too old for me to want to put that on the new one. Might as well replace it while you can. So that just goes on right there, and that'll look like the old one when I'm done. Put that on there, right there. That actually comes with a gasket as well, so I'll need to include the gasket from either in there or the one that came with the new thermostat. The thermostat goes in there, gasket goes on top of that, thermostat housing sits on top of that. Bolt those all on there with the old bolts from the old one, and screw in the hot water heater to the heater core that goes right here, the water pump inlet for the heater core. So there you go, guys. That's a look at the new water pump and the old water pump side by side. And then the last piece to this puzzle is the new fan clutch. So there is the new fan clutch, and I ordered this one off of eBay, but it is a company called Hayden. So this is a Hayden 2835 fan clutch for a Ford F-250 7.3 liter. So there's my new fan clutch, my Hayden fan clutch. I'll just give you guys a look at the front. There's a look at the back. The new nut on there. So I'll screw my fan, my metal fan that's outside. Take the old fan clutch off, put that one on, and screw that on there. got the new water pump all on there and all bolted down, secure. Just doing a couple little last things now. Putting the new heater hose on. Put my upper rad hose on, my lower rad hose back on down there. So this is the coolant I'm going to be using. I got 4 of the Peak Fleet Charge and 4 distilled gallons of water. Mix those together. Should have about enough to fill the whole thing up.